Okay, guys, so it is Friday and I am setting up the room for Sunday since I will be gone at the Royal Rangers Academy graduation for two of our boys. I wanted to go over this because this is the first lesson of this series. I'm going to try to make it quick, but please make sure you watch the whole thing so that you know where things are at. So going through the lesson, for every Sunday for this whole 8-week series, the kids are going to receive one big piece of paper that is going to have a part of their robot. This week, this week for a drop-off time, they're going to receive a body piece of their robot. Sorry. I did label it drop-off activity. So it's big paper. And so this is, actually this is only the upper body part. There's a lower body part on another week. So they will color this robot, sorry, put their name on it, and you'll use the Scotch tape to literally hang it up on the wall, and then just find a spot on the wall. And every week they'll be adding more pieces to it down here in this bag. For other weeks when you have kids who weren't here, other weeks when they're missing pieces to their robot, all the pieces for the robots are in here. So here's like the big head and lower body, and then we actually also get into little pieces of the robot like the heart and the feet and stuff. So in this big bag is where the robot pieces will be for the drop-off times. So once they finish coloring that and you get their name on it, tape it up on the wall, and each week you'll add their pieces to it for the whole series. And then when they're done with that, if there's still time, they can do their Bible coloring sheet. But if kids come in late and it's time for service to start, don't worry about the robot piece. They can do it another week. It doesn't really have anything to do with what they learned during the lesson, so it's okay if they don't have it at all. And possibly another week they can catch up with those pieces. Okay, so you've got the drop-off, then your hello song, go over the class rules, praise and worship. It's a new song starting this week, Word of the Lord. During the video, okay, every week during this series, the craft is going to be the same. The kids are going to be fishing for robot pieces and answering questions and putting together a puzzle. So what you're going to set up for craft really is just putting out a blank sheet of paper, which are these purple pieces, and you're going to have glue sticks, so those are up there. You're going to have the glue sticks, and then a volunteer will be sitting in this room with puzzle pieces, which we'll go over in a minute. And also another volunteer set up snack on the way back table for later. Also, it is Friday. I went in the cafe to get more clear cups, and there weren't any in the volunteer cabinet. So on Sunday, whoever's here for first service, if you could go to the cafe and ask Jean for some, because they have them in their locked office. So yeah, just grab a whole bunch of those, please. Okay, so then you're going to go do the video. Notice that you're going to do the introduction video, then you're going to go back to the menu, and then do the Bible story. So you're going to do both of those. Now, I did put times on here because it's easy for time to get away from us. So for first service, be done with this whole activity and craft by 8:55, 10:20, and 11:50, respectfully. Let's see. So you're going to be sitting in the middle room. You're going to be sitting in the craft room. So they're sitting down. You're telling them they're going to be fishing for robot parts. So once you tell them that, they're going to come in here into the big room. They're going to sit down against the wall, and they're going to take turns. I have 4 fishing poles. I have 2 sitting out right now for just for showing you, and then the other 2 are in here. I wanted them out of the way and out of sight. They are magnetic, and so they are on the back of this metal cabinet. That is the best way to keep them from being tangled, is to hang them up. So when I'm done with this example, I'm going to put the other 2 up here. So you'll have 4 fishing poles sitting over here out of sight of the kids. Because if I put them on this cabinet, they'll be in the big room for certain little eyes and fingers to find. So we've got the fishing poles. The kids are lined up 4 at a time, or 2, 3, depends on how big your class is. Use your best judgment. They're going to get the fishing poles that have magnets on the end, and they're going to fish for robot parts. I'm so sorry, I need a drink. So they're going to fish, and they'll be able to pick up the piece with their fishing pole, and then they're going to take this piece into the middle room, the craft room, where the rest of your volunteers will be sitting. However many volunteers there are, you only need one person in this room and all the other people in the other room to go over the questions with them. So they're going to pass their fishing pole off to another child who's sitting against the floor in line, and they're going to take this into the middle room where the volunteer is sitting, and the volunteer is going to take off the rubber band, and this is a question. The questions are colored. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't really affect what you're doing as to which one they get, because you're not going to remember if they already did this question. It's not a big deal at all if they get repeat questions. So the question is in here. You're going to read the question to them. They need to answer it, and all of the questions and answers are in the script. Help them as much as they need. And then the volunteer in the other room is going to take the question paper and the, where did I put them? The question paper and the robot piece, and they're going to put them in their little bin here. And when you have time, if you can reattach them with rubber bands and stuff, here are all the extra questions because I had a ton printed out, but we don't need all of them. So just put them in your bucket, and as you have time, reattach them to put them in the pool for the next service. Now, third service, you can take the rubber bands off, put them in here, and throw away all the questions so that they don't get mixed up with the next week's questions. But first and second service, try to reattach as many as you can so that third service has those. So when the child comes in and answers their question, then the volunteer is going to hand them a puzzle piece. And it doesn't matter what order these come in. So you're going to, sit, and you only need one envelope at a time. You're going to, they answer it, and you'll give them a puzzle piece, and they're going to just set it on their paper. And their paper at the table, they're just going to set it on their paper, and they're going to run back in to get in line to get another piece. Now, once they've collected all their pieces, then they can sit down, put them all in order on the paper, and a volunteer can help them glue it to their paper, and then they can color it. So when they come back in to this room to sit down for another round, whoever is in this big room, pay attention to where the beginning of the line is, because once all the kids have done round one, then you can let the volunteers in the other room know we're about to start round two. Now get a different envelope of pieces. That way the volunteers that are answering questions are just handing out one question or one puzzle piece, the same puzzle piece to everybody. Then once everybody has made it through round one, now it's time to start round two, get a new envelope of puzzle pieces. Everybody does that, and so on until they have all 6 puzzle pieces. Then everybody's in that room gluing and coloring, and then that's a craft, and that's the end of it. This pool I'm going to put in the playroom. You probably won't need the playroom at all. Just don't even use the playroom. If you have extra time, you can watch videos and songs, because that way it's out of sight, and then you don't have curious kids grabbing for it. Okay, so once they've got all their puzzle done and their coloring, then you're going to go back into the big room and do the video lesson. This is where it flips over the parts of the picture. It's like one big puzzle, and they answer questions, and it flips over the pieces until you have the whole screen open. Now, if you're running tight on time, don't worry about skipping this. Just once they're done with their gluing and coloring, stay in the middle room, the craft room, stay in there, and then just move the craft out of the way and put snack out in front of them. So this you know, this is just nice, and it doesn't take that long. We did this sometimes during the last series too, where you just it's just an online or on video review, and then you're in here, Bible verse, snack time. Read all the books of the New Testament with them. Say it slowly so they can say them with you. And then this verse on the poster is a little bit different than the song. I'd rather just have you say it like the song so that they don't get confused. So just say the verse like it is in the song. Pray and then eat. I'll cross off the big room just so that we don't need to go in there. Just watch videos or whatever, or play games. All right, if you have any questions, you can text me. I'll be in Wapaka, or you can Facebook message me, or whatever. So thanks for all your help, you guys. You guys, I say this all the time, but you're amazing. Thanks for serving in our preschool area.